Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Luke here again today, and Ghost is back again.
Yo, what's up?
First of
I
all,
am back.
yeah, he's back. Today we're going to be talking to you guys about SIA. We're going to start doing an ecosystem analysis of Quant, who they're working with in an official capacity, and what those guys do. And we thought SIA everyone knows about. It's probably one of the bigger ones, so we thought we'd start with them today. But before we dive into the source, we were just showing. Ghost thought it'd be cool
Luke
to
was
bring
showing
this
me
up.
this, and I think it would just be a great little update to show that he's
Reality.
still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just showing him that like half of Australia is pretty much just on fire. Um, and we were looking at some of like the satellite imagery. Like this is like Australia, and you can literally just see like smoke.
It's unreal.
It's actually just pillowing off. Anyway, we just thought we'd. I don't know why we thought that, but it was cool. If you want to know what this
I
app's
guess
called,
it looks cool. You know,
it does
why
look
not?
cool.
Yeah, but let's go into SIA then.
All
I
right.
guess.
So basically, what is SIA? Huh?
What is SIA?
What is SIA? Well, is an Italian company operating in providing solutions and technologies for the finance sector. So we thought we would bring up this because this kind of
Go back.
Go back?
Before everything.
Okay.
We gotta cover the ground level first.
True. All right.
Società Interbancaria per Automazione. Any Italian speaker will crucify me for that pronunciation. But it was established by the Bank of Italy, ABI, and a pool of private Italian banks. So this is essentially national infrastructure for running the Italian banking system.
Right.
And so it started there, but it's actually expanded to a whole lot of different countries, cities, and international entities. So if you want to, if Luke, if you want to add anything, then feel free. But if not,
well, basically, I thought we would cover like what services SIA provide. And
Yeah.
I think this is probably a good one.
Perfect.
If we go through, we're just going to scroll through and just highlight some things. As you said, founded in July. They do 86 million cards managed a year, 8 billion transactions,
and ACH is automatic clearinghouse.
13
And if you
billion
see here,
transactions.
this is the amount of offices and exposure they have. So they have almost they have a whole host of Central Europe. They're a key infrastructure provider for that.
And an office in South Africa as well. We'll touch on that when we get to the RTGS.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is probably a good one. This is kind of like an overview of what they do.
So you have the legacy financial institutions, so classic banks as we know them.
Yeah.
We have central institutions, so this gets into like ECB, EBA clearing established by the ECB. You have Borsa Italia, which is the Italian stock exchange, London Stock Exchange Group. You have Bank of Italy, of course, Deutsche Bundesbank, which is Central Bank of Germany. Norges Bank, actually, right there, funnily enough, which is the Norwegian central bank.
Yeah.
And a whole host of interesting infrastructure.
Yeah, and they also serve like corporate companies as well through like payment gateways. They do a lot of like micro payments and like credit cards and things like that. And then also they do looks like
point
a lot
of sale systems, all that.
Yeah, like e-documents and digital payments and stuff for the public sector as well. Cool little things here. We do not
messages.
Do not compete.
We do not compete with our customers. That's a nice approach. I like it. Very soft.
Yeah, that's good. What else do they got? Anything here jumping out? We don't want to go through all of it because we'll be here for like literally all day.
Okay. we actually have already covered this ourselves, so maybe we could slow down, allow people to absorb this.
Okay.
So we know this, but other people don't.
All right. Do we want to cover this?
Yeah, I think this is a key right here.
Okay. So this is innovation projects. So what do we got? We got instant payments. So I guess that's like card payments and things like that. Maybe like Osco.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open banking. It's not an unfamiliar term.
Well, and PSD2, Payment Services Directive 2. This
Right.
is the open banking initiative that is all the rage right now, and being led actually by England on a standards level. So that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Digital payments, that's good. Huh? Blockchain. Huh?
SIA
I wonder where that comes in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do we got
and
here?
in the Internet of Things as well.
Yeah, I know.
So
I just
plugging
looked
into
at
that.
Yep. As well as big data as well, further down.
Big data and the mobile proximity as well.
Yeah.
So all the point of sale processors.
All right, cool. So what do we got here? Instant payments, EBA clearing, tips. Maybe should we touch on that, or should we? I think there's
so all this
diagram.
this is related to the European Central Bank,
Yeah.
and they're preparing for the new Target 2 platform, which is I think already in place, which is the European Single Market Infrastructure Gateway. That's what the ESMIG.
Right.
And so Swift GPI is reconciling that, which is GPI stands for Global Payments Initiative, and so that's going to be reconciling all these national and international clearing agencies into one international standard, ISO 20022. So that's something plenty of linkies would be familiar with.
Oh,
so
jeez. Oh,
yes.
This is interesting. Look at this. Cross-border
Cross-border
interoperability.
How nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Instant Payments Hub.
Here we go. So you get a bit of SIANet in there. So that's their own infrastructure, isn't it?
So Luke, if you could go back to the map up some pages up. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
So all these different nodes over here, it goes in even more detail. And I think they're not showing that. Oh, well, that's a clearer picture. Absolutely. Thanks. But it gets even more detailed because there's actually 600 individual points in which are running this infrastructure. And they're all connected actually with dedicated fiber. So SIA, it owns the physical infrastructure that they're running these payment networks on.
Right. Okay. So for those of us who don't know, fiber, it's basically just fast internet connection and cabling, pretty much.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Where were we? Scroll back down.
Yep. So again, open banking, very key. Quant Atlas was built for this very purpose.
True.
So we are addressing this portion as well, but it's really nice to see that SIA, their partner, is also trying to integrate this initiative. So
yeah, it seems to be one of those things that just keeps popping up at the moment. Open banking.
Yeah.
What does it all mean? Things like that.
Absolutely.
This is a cool one.
Real-time compliance. Interesting. I like that phrase. Let's just come back to that another time.
Where is it? Where'd you see that? I didn't even see that.
Go down. RTS compliance, right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Interesting.
Real-time settlement compliance.
So this is related to open banking, I guess, and these are like individual bank nodes or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could almost think of it as like a proto-DLT platform.
Right.
They're preparing for conversion and transition.
Oh, okay. This is good.
Oh, here's the juice.
This is the juice.
Yeah.
Okay. So SIA has their own blockchain infrastructure called SIAChain, right?
Yeah.
And it's based on the SIANet, which we just discussed with the fiber nodes and 580 plus SIANet nodes, right? And there's the optics.
There's the fiber optic network.
Yeah, so basically they're saying they're going to run the SIA chain, which is where we come in. We'll talk about the announcement in a second. And they run it on, I think it says it's private at the moment. So basically, permissioned network means, as we've talked about in previous videos, it's not run on like the public Ethereum chain. We know Quarter is run in a permission environment, so is Hyperledger Fabric. I think Ripple, they're probably using the Ripple, what is it called? I don't know what it's called.
So they Ripple. I think it's either like X Rapid or X.
Yeah. RPL or something. I don't know.
So there's I'm not familiar with Ripple terminology, but I think X Rapid uses XRP, and then X.
Or Ripple Net or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Ripple
yeah.
Net doesn't necessarily use XRP.
Yeah.
So
it's also interesting that they
X Current. That's it. So
Current.
X Rapid and X Current. X Current is the one that doesn't use XRP necessarily.
Right. And it's also got interesting enough, they've got public blockchain network out here. So this is, if you've seen our gateways video, they want what it looks like to be a settling or a communication with permissionless blockchain at some point as well. So basically, yeah,
absolutely. And look at the date. When was this presented?
I don't know actually.
Look at the URL.
December 2018.
Yeah.
So probably
pretty interesting.
It also opened interoperate with other networks. I think I wanted to talk about this graphic a little bit because a lot of people don't understand why SIA needs Overledger for interoperability. If you run something on Quarters, we've talked about before, and Fabric, these two don't natively communicate. And
no, they don't.
And the same thing with other networks and all these communities and stuff, they don't natively communicate. So by having Overledger within the SIA Chain network, they are easily interoperable and flexible. Cool.
Do you mind if I say something on that?
Yeah, go for it, man. Jump in.
So it's more than just that R3 and IBM don't communicate. IBM doesn't even, so Hyperledger Fabric as it stands doesn't even communicate with different instances of Hyperledger Fabric. And so for a long time, Corda was essentially eating Hyperledger Fabric projects because Corda instances could communicate with other Corda projects.
Right.
And so they were gaining a lot of network adoption. But the fact that SIA had the presence of mind to understand that there's multiple different heterogeneous ecosystems, and that not only that, but R3's Corda, which is internally absolutely consistent, they could have just adopted R3 only, but they're like, no, that's not the right approach.
Yeah.
Interoperability with other ecosystems is essential. That says everything about the necessity of using standards-based interoperability of heterogeneous ecosystems. This coming new internet of trust.
It's also interesting to touch on here. This diagram here that we're looking at. This is actually just within the SIA Chain network. We're not even talking about if SIA Chain wanted to communicate with another, maybe like a Bitcoin. Foreign consortia or something like that, even because those trade networks, absolutely, those wouldn't even communicate either. So
this is just payment settlement.
Yeah,
exactly.
Internally, even like this is just in the SIA environment.
Exactly.
All right, good. What do we got
Bingo.
here? This is more of that
I think.
payments.
Well, okay, white label technology. That's all I'm going to say. And let's move on. What's the next tab?
What is all this?
What's the next tab?
Oh, this is the press release from SIA about Quant. So what do we got? So the partnership aims to integrate the SIA Chain infrastructure into Quant Network's blockchain operating system Overledger to develop and implement blockchain and DLT-based applications spanning different technologies. So we already mentioned what SIA Chain was and how they're going to go split the nodes across the globe via their already existing SIANet, and SIA Chain is built up of those underlying protocols with Corda, Fabric, Ethereum, Ripple, etc. Right?
Absolutely.
Is there anything in here that we should talk about?
Well, so most importantly, it's focusing on SIA Chain, which is the logical extension of SIANet, leading together every node that's running on SIANet.
Right.
And let me say as well, the fiber network, and there's going to come another discussion point about SIA's partnership with a different fiber network called Colt, that is very very interesting. So we'll get on that later, but just note also that Danielle Savare, I don't know how to pronounce that. Daniel
Nailed it.
Savare, whatever. Like he was actually the one that created that presentation, the one we were just looking at. So
True.
it seems that there's this coordination of vision right here with technologies.
Yeah.
That SIANet had the prescience of mind to say, like, to be on the look for, frankly, the best technology that's out there for interoperability, and they chose Quant.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions that in the quote here on the site. Since the European launch of our private infrastructure, see, it's interesting how he calls it the European launch there. SIA Chain.
They're the forefront of innovation.
Yeah, in blockchain technology, high performance, secure architecture, and clear governance model. That's actually interesting. Our path of innovation and the achievement of full interoperable blockchain network is the foremost objective we want to reach with the collaboration of Quant Network and its disruptive vision on DLT, and that's our bloke. Cool, and then Gilly got a little cheeky mention in there as well. So you're probably wondering...
Wait. I want to read his. His. We're pleased to collaborate with SIA to explore how Overledger can enable financial institutions with SIA Chain or part of SIANet, so not just SIA Chain, to benefit from cross-platform and interoperable blockchain applications, to embrace new business models, to improve operational efficiencies, and deliver new innovation to customers.
So that's actually
awesome.
An interesting distinction you've made there. So can enable financial institutions on SIA Chain or part of SIANet. So they don't necessarily have to be using DLT there. And need to benefit from cross-platform and interoperable blockchain applications.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be
more than cheeky.
More than cheeky. Very good. We should analyze his words one by one from now on.
We should be careful. Yeah.
So we're probably wondering how does Quant fit into SIA and where do the connections likely come from, right? Because as Gil, not Gil, I called you Gil. That's hilarious. As Ghost mentioned, SIA's like national infrastructure for pretty much the entire banking system in Italy, right? And now it's spread across the globe.
Wait, show his smiling face. I think he's all the way up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there
Halo.
he is. That's our boy. That's our boy.
Tasker. Yeah. Basically, if you don't know, I think we've talked about him before, but he's an advisor and he was the co-founder to Quant, and he's actually he was actually pretty big in he was pretty big in the whole blockchain space. He heads up UCL, and down here we can see that he advises some pretty significant institutions as well as some startup. Quant. We've got the United Nations, the World Food Program, Banca d'Italia
of Italy.
Yeah, Italian Central Bank. Also the EU,
the European Parliament.
Yep,
so and then go all the way down. Absolutely,
this one as well. Intesa
San Paolo.
So I think it's pretty clear that Paolo's
so we have Saint Paolo over here.
True. Yeah,
that's what San Paolo means. If any people don't understand.
Yeah. Ghost was just telling me that. I was like, I've got no idea, dude. I don't speak Italian. And he's just like, it's English. And I'm like, oh, what? What do we got here? Oh, that's right. Basically,
Seek's wonderful article.
Yes.
He does such a great job of explaining all this. And as usual, he just knocks it out of the park with this. If you guys want to have a written version of essentially what we're saying, we'll include a link to it in the video.
Yeah.
So,
he basically talks about every aspect we just talked about. He also talks about the ISMIG coming in here, the European Gateway. I think he's got
Single Market Infrastructure. Oh yeah, right here. So, and this is the juicy part.
Yeah.
For Target 2, which is the new which is essentially the new real-time gross settlement system of the European Union, they chose 2 infrastructure providers for it. For the infrastructure gateway. One is SWIFT, which, as everyone knows, governs the Western world's financial system, frankly, the whole world's financial system. But the other one was SIA with their partner Colt. So that's very interesting. Again, Colt comes up.
I think we're about to talk about Colt. Yeah, so this is good. Sec actually touches on pretty much a lot of the things we were just talking about.
So much great stuff, yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely link this.
Oh wait, go up.
Do you like this one?
Right here. So SIA Chain involved with a certain project that's very interesting that we're going to highlight. Invoice financing, great. FinSec, that's also great. Financial security, that's really good. And I think we should, we might cover that later, but we weren't ready for that one, so we'll leave it be. But ABI Lab's Spunta project.
Boom. Keep that in the forefront.
I think that's next.
I think it is coming up. I think we've got Colt first, and then I think we've touched on Sponta.
What's the one to the right though? Oh yeah. Okay. So we were talking about real-time gross settlement. I forgot. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's all right. So basically, just to get an understanding of how big SIA is globally, we'd talk about real-time gross settlement and what they do with a lot of the sovereign nations and their systems. So basically, Ghost, do you think you could give us a rundown real quick on what real-time gross settlement is for those of us who don't know?
So that's essentially like the difference between end-of-day settlement. Real-time gross settlement implies that while the institution's open, you can, within hours, sometimes maybe even minutes, banks can settle their books between one another.
Right.
And so you can have, it actually increases security because there's less financial risk of there being like a misalignment in the day in between a settlement as it usually was. Yeah. So this could benefit greatly from DLT and fast consensus mechanisms that are securely rooted. So,
Cool.
Oh, and we see right here, introducing links is go down. Introducing links is a fundamental part of Payment Canada's multi-year payments modernization initiative aimed at transforming the country's payments ecosystem. The new system will replace Canada's current large value payment system and will be based on the global ISO 20022 messaging standard. So that global standard pushed by SWIFT.
So it's also interesting how they mention here, our secure and reliable technologies currently support 20 central banks around the world. We had a list of that we've compiled. It's not extensive, but just to get a bit of a sense of how big these guys are, SIA help all of these following countries with their real-time gross settlements.
And 20 is more than we have.
Yeah,
we've been trying to find a list for this, but we've had some difficulty. But let's bring it up.
I got Norway, Denmark.
I don't see anything.
Oh, that's all right. I'll just read them. We got Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Iceland, obviously Italy, New Zealand actually, Canada, which is what we're talking about here, and then we got some interesting connections in South Africa. We got Malawi, I'm gonna butcher this, Namibia, Zambia. Zimbabwe, Uganda, and South Africa as well. I actually noticed, Ghost, real quick on here.
What's up?
They mentioned one of the other ones.
Wait. We forgot this.
Did we?
Wait. Go up a little bit right there. A year later, together with the same partner, with Colt, SIA won the tender announced by Deutsche Bundesbank, which is operating on behalf of Bank of Italy, the Bank of France, and the Bank of Spain to create network infrastructure linking the four banks' charges, maintaining a single platform, the Eurosystem, to settle large payments and securities transactions.
Right. Oh, we missed the ECB announcement as well with Colt and SIA.
Well, no, we're gonna get there. That's the ECMIG.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
But this one, okay, Deutsche Bundesbank, Italy, France, and Spain. That's massive.
Right.
That's huge because
that was what, 2013 I think it was.
There's a new initiative led by the banks, the central banks right now, that want to establish a entirely new real-time gross settlement system to beat out Libra right now, and it's being led by Germans. So Deutsche Bundesbank.
Interesting.
It's the German banks. So keep that in mind. That is coming.
And also, I just thought I found two more names here. They also helped build the central bank RTGS systems for Egypt and Palestine. Those are two names we didn't know.
We've got the data on Egypt.
Oh, true.
We found it actually. We're like, why is Egypt coming up?
Anyway, so basically, they have a lot of reach. People think, basically, it's. I don't really know who else to compare it to, but Swift. Like, think Swift, and SIA is pretty much the same thing.
Well, honestly, SIA's even more engaged though, because Swift is kind of like it's a governing authority that's that coordinates all these different banks, but SIA is like a basically like has a startup's mentality, but with a level of infrastructure that, like you said, rivals Swift. So it's not just like infrastructure, but its approach. SIA's quick. They're fast.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on. So I mean, the list of names we railed off. I mean, this isn't just like some small time shit. Like this is literally like one of the leading global financial providers. And just to give you guys an example, we thought we'd go through some statistics and data on real-time gross settlement.
Can I ask one thing before we do this?
Sure.
On the previous tab, could you type in Bank of Canada links?
Up here?
Yes. So there's SIA, right? Now go down. Let's look up what else there. Let's go to news. Click on news.
All right. Oh, is this
IBM wins bidding for new Canadian real-time gross settlement system.
Cool.
So IBM is working with SIA to implement links for the ISO 20022
Interesting
standard.
Very
I want to throw one more interesting thing in here, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Type in IBM SIA and I think SDP. Delete SDP. Go type in new, click. Oh wait, right there.
This one?
Fifth one. That one. Yeah. Bingo. All right. So this was the 6th this year.
Oh, okay. Recent.
Yeah. So SIA studies blockchain applications, SIA Chain, with CDP, which is Casa Depositi e Prestiti, and me and Luke didn't pull this up, but I did some background on them, and they essentially own SIA.
Right.
They're the holding company.
Okay.
In another word. So they're studying and exploring the potential impacts and applications of blockchain technology. So SIA will contribute to the creation of a white book intended to develop the analysis and the effects of blockchain. And this study will be made available to all players in the financial sector in the credits and payments field to identify potential economic opportunities and to drive growth towards the use of this new technology. Like that's
and I mean,
pretty
what's
awesome.
Epic about that? I mean, freaking hell. I mean, we're right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about SIAChain and Jesus.
IBM's going to be studying this, and they're going to release a report on this. So,
boom.
Far out, man.
Bombs. Guys dropping bombs. All right.
RTGS.
Shit. Look at this. Whew. Cool me down. So
what
basically,
is that? 678 billion per day.
I know, it's almost $1 trillion, or that is $1 trillion Australian dollars per day. Just the Bank of England, I think.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, we were looking at some of the volumes. Like, there's 192,000 volumes per day.
Notice this too. The biggest provider of this was which one?
What do you mean, sorry?
Shit.
Go
Who's
up.
the biggest?
Failed.
Who's the CREST DVP values?
Delivery versus payment, right?
Delivery versus payment, huh? Seems that delivery versus payment's a pretty substantial portion of this initiative.
Do you think you could explain what delivery versus payment is?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So delivery versus payment used to be, before the advancement of certain DLT technologies, a pretty hard problem to solve, because what it means is like it's essentially a delivery of securities, so securities settlement, which is managed by the biggest provider of this, the DTCC, which is involved in all these, and payment, which deals with real-time gross settlement systems of central banks. So ultimate resolution of security settlement and payments for said securities.
Right.
So all the stock exchanges in the world depend on this infrastructure. So
Cool.
and wait, can we pull up a little teaser?
Oh, okay. What do you want
Should
to pull
we
up?
should we do that? Should we
We
do
could
that, or
put
should we leave that for later?
what the context teaser. Is that what you're going to talk?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we'll just
I
mention
mean,
it. I mean,
oh yeah. Quant X,
Quant,
DBP.
yeah. Overledger
Watch
can
out.
facilitate that. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing like a demo or something at Quantex on payments versus delivery. So that'll be interesting to look at. What do we got next? Colt and SIA. Here we go.
Quant and SIA. All right, this is the ESMIG contract that they won.
Right. So taking us back to, I'll just bring it up real quick, just so everyone knows what we're talking about. This thing here, where it's got all the different settlement systems and stuff under one kind of bridge, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So who was Colt?
So Colt stands for City of London Telecom. That's what the acronym originally means.
Right.
Which means like Londinium, not London, the capital of London or England. So a very strange area. But they actually, let's go to the next tab.
Sure.
If you can show their reach.
Here we go.
This is their map. And so like
Jeez.
SIA, like if you can zoom in, like Control Plus.
Oh, doof.
Can you do that?
I think it's just Control Plus. Is that
Yeah,
a little
that's
better?
what I said. Yep, good. All right. So we have North America, which from Chicago to essentially New York. We've got Asia, all these hubs in Asia, which is going to be a huge emphasis it's going to be a huge emphasis sooner rather than later. And then all these different fiber networks. So Colt owns the fiber of so many different urban areas. It's actually insane.
Mm.
So they're a key infrastructure provider, and if you look at the coverage, Colt and SIA together, they cover, like, SIA doesn't have reach into Spain, but Colt does, and so Colt provides that integration of Spain and Portugal into SIA's network as well, and Colt also covers so much of Italy already.
Cool.
So, yeah, really cool stuff right there.
Awesome.
And it gets cooler.
Gets cooler. All right, what do we got next? Boom.
Yeah. What is this?
IBM
Why would we bring up this
Orbs
random thing?
Consensus work together on global blockchain settlement platform for telecoms.
Huh. What is it called?
What is it
What
called?
are they calling it? What are they calling it?
The Communications Blockchain Network?
Yes.
CBN.
So let's look at the members.
Here we go. Is this it?
Yep. So
what
we
do
have
got?
Telecom Austria, China Telecom Global, Colt, Deutsche Telekom, Global Carrier, IDT, Orange, PCCW Global, Tata Communications, Telefonica, Telestra, and TNZI. Are there, like, isn't Telefonica like in Australia?
No, Telstra is though.
Telstra, yeah, that's it.
Telstra, yeah.
I think
I'm
TNZI is also New Zealand.
It could be, actually. But I'm pretty sure Telstra is in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, this is Spark News. No, okay, what is it? Is this, yeah, Telecom New Zealand International. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Nice.
So they got a bit of reach there as well.
A worldwide reach. Really
So
nice.
why were we bringing this up?
Okay,
Was
well,
it
let's wait. Let's note here.
Okay.
The Global Leaders Forum, the GLF, right?
Mhm.
They're
Yep.
the ones incubating and leading this. And look at this as well. Look at technology providers: IBM, Orbs, Consensus, R3, Clear, blockchain technologies. So many other. I don't even know these other ones. Like it goes for days. Like, but what we can definitely say about like IBM, Orbs, Consensus, R3, and Clear, that they all have different blockchain technologies.
Right.
Very interesting, eh?
It is a diverse mixture of blockchain technologies can provide significant benefits.
Yes.
So that's an interesting thing to think about.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to
This one?
right here. All right. So this is from the chair of the GLF and the chief executive officer of PCCW. Keep that in mind. PCCW.
Yeah.
And they're the chair of the GLF. So enable multi-dimensional automation for the betterment of the industry. A truly open platform that will facilitate settlement among every intercommunication telecom provider, including carriers and cloud providers. That's awesome.
Jeez, it's hectic. So what does that actually mean, Ghost? Can you break it down for us? What does it mean?
Yeah. So essentially what that means is that when you have cross-carrier communication, like, the quote-unquote roaming signal, right?
Yeah. This
would allow for better load balancing, like automatic load balancing between different networks, and like seamless roaming all across the world.
Right.
No matter where you use your phone.
I feel
this is the basis of that.
I feel like Gilbert mentioned that in an interview once.
He might have. You would know, because I don't recall that one actually.
I think he specifically mentioned
telecoms.
Yeah, he did, the interoperability between carriers. I can't remember where that was.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many videos, but.
All right, so.
Oh, what's this?
What's this?
What's this video? What's this video?
Right, so this is Colt again, and
yeah.
As we know, Quant and SIA are like the bread and butter for this kind of stuff. So what are we looking at? So
we're looking at a software-defined network, I think.
Yeah.
It's an SDN. And so what this means is that from the software to the network, you're essentially reconciling everything within this virtual overlay service. Sounds familiar. Between different carriers. And so you can essentially build this platform for interoperability of carriers and the reconciliation of their traffics.
Right.
So pretty interesting.
So this
and preventing a fraud too, obviously.
Right. So that same sort of like similar stack we were just describing with interoperability between carriers and stuff like that, but it's kind of just like.
So we have the video next too.
True. Also, it's important to note it's done by Imperial, UCL, and I think it's Linux as well. And
go to the beginning. It'll show people if they don't believe us. Right at her.
This on?
No, a little bit right there. Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
CTO GovTech Labs and DataNet, University College London.
Yep.
Who leads the the blockchain?
True. So
center.
as we mentioned, Palo leads UCL.
Yeah.
It's also important to note that Luke Riley was a recent hire from Imperial.
Oh, I thought he was from King's College.
Oh, he was. Wait, what's the Imperial guy then?
I think we have someone from Imperial at Quant X.
Possibly.
No, we do. I know for sure.
Yeah, I know there's definitely an Imperial connection in there as well. And then, of course, the obvious one is the Linux Foundation.
Which is Hyperledger.
Which is Hyperledger. Awesome. So I think we wanted to show a specific segment of this. Was it just here?
Yeah,
was it
right there. Yeah, bingo.
See this, I wouldn't say becoming mainstream, but at least getting to a point where POCs can happen in an isolated instance.
Yeah, I think we've already seen 2 or 3 POCs happen in the telecommunications space. My question will be, when do those scale up? Right?
Okay.
So we've seen the one between PCCW Global and Colt.
PCCW.
And that's been expanded now to 4 other operators.
And Colt.
And I think that could be, a very interesting initiative.
Could you pause this?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So this was before the announcement of the Communication Blockchain Network.
Right. Oh, it was too, September 27th, 2018.
So PCCW leading this initiative with Colt, and they're doing the same thing again in the GLF's Communications Blockchain Network. Keep going. Let's keep
As
going.
for so enterprise blockchain, I think is starting to stabilize. I think now we're moving into newer versions of Hyperledger with Sawtooth and Fabric. They're becoming a lot more stable. And the one key thing that I think is important for blockchain is this idea of interoperability between blockchains. So everyone here will understand the importance of interoperability and standards. And we're seeing a lot more now
standards.
that there is ability, for example, to build on Hyperledger, but integrate towards Ethereum situations.
All right.
All right.
If you were
So basically, just like highlights what we've all been screaming at the wind for.
Yeah.
Kind of
Into the wind. Yeah.
Into the wind. Yeah, you know.
Seemingly to no avail, but
Yeah.
it's there.
So,
It's
so
cool.
do we want to try and wrap up this whole thing? Like, what is the connection to Quant and SIA? Because this is supposed to be a kind of like a SIA connection. And as where was it?
Yeah, let's just return. Let's just return. Remember this.
Right.
They're deeply collaborating together,
Yeah.
and we have
Since 2012.
very close networks to both, directly to SIA and then through UCL. Colt is right there.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Cool. Also, we
Enough
wanted
said.
to talk about something that
Yeah, there's
is
a coup de grace. I think you wanted to.
potentially exciting.
Wait.
No?
Yes,
Close your
right
eyes.
here.
Okay,
Yeah, you got
yeah.
it. You got it. Yeah.
Italian bank blockchain project passes technical test. This was just recently, right? So ABI, if you remember back, oh shit, should I bring it up? Damn.
You're good. Don't panic. You're good.
Maybe it wasn't this one.
Yeah.
No,
No.
it wasn't this one. Oh, it was in X
Wasn't this
article.
It wasn't.
Ah, sick.
No, I don't think it was. I
Yeah, it
don't think
was, dude. I'm confident. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, it was. You're right.
ABI Labs. So that's
Of course.
and Spunta. So,
Yeah.
what is it? Basically, it says the country's major banks could be ready to use DLT tech to run interbank reconciliations by March next year after pilot tests prove its capability. So the move is part of the Spunta project, which is what we just talked about, program managed by ABI Lab. So I'm assuming that's a branch of the Interbanking Association. So 78% of the banking sector in terms of employees are involved with technology from NTT Data, SIA, and R3. So obviously we know SIA run the SIA Chain, which is what we're...
Wait. Go back to SIA's wiki.
Okay. Here.
Who set up SIA to begin with? Go up.
ABI.
ABI.
Boom.
Bingo.
So this is kind of where everything's going, guys. If you don't think that blockchain has a place in finance, you probably need to wake up a little bit. I mean, this stuff is actually moving pretty quick.
Eggs for brekkie.
Yeah, eggs for brekkie.
Right here.
I mean, just looking at this,
Right here.
just look at some of this stuff. Comes on the back of on 200 million data points across 35 different nodes. The pilot simulated the production phase using a full year's data from 200 banks, and this is just
So
within
SIA was at CordaCon recently, and
Yeah.
they mentioned that the means by which was a nostro and vostro account, which means mine and yours. And so they essentially just paper accounts, nothing of really any consequence.
yeah,
But the real magic starts to come when you apply this to central bank digital currencies, CBDCs.
right.
So that's probably a whole different.
That's like a
video we
whole
can
nother
cover.
video, yeah.
Yeah, but just letting you know, that's where the rubber really meets the road.
And
Right here.
when you put your speculation hat on, I suppose we go over to this slide and we can see that Gilly seems pretty excited about this piece of news. We are, this is by the head of ABI Lab. We are expanding the Italian Spunta program, which goes live in March 2020 to be Europe-wide, to incorporate with all European banks as foreign sponsor. So that's pretty cool. And he tags SIAChain and interoperability, which is kind of what we were talking about.
Wait. But look also at who is talking.
So we got the head of the ABI we were just talking about.
Atanasio.
Yep.
Atanasio.
Bank of
Tom
England.
Mutton, Director FinTech Bank of England. Piteris Zilgalvis, the Head of Unit for Digital Innovation and Blockchain, European Commission. And Isabelle Corbet, Head of Regulatory Affairs and Public Partnerships, R3.
Pretty exciting stuff, dude.
Who's who?
Who's who?
The biggest player.
The biggest players. I mean, it's all sort of coming together.
Look, by the way, Luke found something brilliant.
Oh shit! Did I?
Right before this. Do you remember?
Possibly. What is it? Refresh me.
the I think it was the 8 banks or so that had like a non-hierarchical partnership. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Here we go.
Bingo. Yeah.
So this is cool.
So this is awesome. When Luke found this, like, dang, this is good.
So what is it?
Created by six banks, and it's a non-hierarchical association. So they're all basically sharing information with no assumption of like who's the top dog. And if we look at the group right here, we have AIB Group, Ireland, Novo Banco, New Bank, Portugal, Commerce Bank, which we recently had a hire. What's his name again? I forgot.
Stephen Bucky.
Oh, nice. Stephen Bucky.
Yeah.
So very nice. He comes from Commerce Bank. ING Group from the Netherlands. Really nice, familiar name there. Intesa Sanpaolo.
Intesa Sanpaolo.
Yeah.
When did that pop up, Ghost?
I wonder.
St. Paul, again, he's here.
St. Paul, he's here with us. He lives.
KBC Bank, Belgium. Interesting. Nordea. Oh, I didn't realize Nordea was covered all 3 of them. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. They're pretty essential for the Nordic banking system.
Right.
RBS, the Royal Bank of Scotland. So NatWest actually is a part of that. So very interesting. And then Santander and Societe Generale. Santander is the biggest bank in Spain. Societe Generale is the biggest bank in France.
Pretty cool.
So, pretty awesome.
So we're up to 50 minutes, Ghost. Let's wrap it up. Tie it all back in. Let's do like the TLDR on SIA and Quant and what's happening.
Okay, so SIA, let's go back to his wiki.
All right.
Is basically the mother payment infrastructure provider for Italy. Set up by the Bank of Italy, ABI, and a pool of Italian banks. And so they're essential infrastructure to Italy's financial institutions, and they're spreading worldwide through their South African subsidiary, Protego, in order to run the real-time gross settlement systems for, I think it's 20 banks right now.
Central
one
banks,
one of which is Bank of Canada. So with their Project Links project, in addition to IBM, and they're initiating this DLT project called SIA Chain. And if we could go to Seek's article.
Yeah.
And so SIA Chain is, look at how integrated it is with all these different parts. Like, not just finance, but smart bill of lading, which is like transport, like delivery of goods.
Yeah.
We have insurance, education, agriculture. I mean, basically, they envision SIA Chain to be essential infrastructure for all facets of life to be plugged into.
Almost like a smart city overlay or some kind of thing.
Yeah, for real. Actually, you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah. And at the core of it, boom.
The core of it.
Network infrastructure. We're in there, man. We are in there.
We're in there. We're
helping out.
In there, mate. Yeah, absolutely. We are an essential part. And that's basically it. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good
too. If you guys have any questions about SIA or what we're doing, drop it in the comments. I'll link the article to Seek's piece just because it's a beast. It covers pretty much a lot of what we just said in writing with some good statistics and data. Thank you for watching. Take care and see you later.
Absolutely. Have a nice one.
All right. Catch you guys. Bye.